Excuse me. I don't want material preview, I want solid preview. Okay. Now I should be able to sculpt the mouth without adjusting anything else. Alright, just making the high poly line up with the low poly. A little hard to see right now, but we are making it line up. Loading. Gotta be an easier way to select the eyes. It's taking forever to load. Sorry to be so coffee. All right, back again. I don't know why Blender's taking so long to do this. All right, I think I survived that. I just got quite a tickle in my throat. Oh, is this still loading? My God. Blender, come on. Okay, sorry, Blender. It's time to put you down. Taking too long. Here's the character we're working on. It's looking pretty good. All right, Blender just decided to take a big dump, I guess. Why is it so slow right now? There we go. So it looks like at this point, we still haven't adjusted the mouth. That's what we need to do now. My music's busted. It's like a little tickle or something. Look at Yoshi. Thought probation stopped me from doing stupid stuff. Heck no, I'm 16, bro. Stupid stuff's in my genes. Stuck behind my probation officer back at night to hang out with a rich friend. Nothing like going to jail for life at 16. Nice. Oh, goodness. break probation by existing. Ever considered moving to El Salvador? I guess I'm not worried about the. Let's see. Where's the cage now? Got the low poly here. Let's turn the cage. Sounds like your life might not be very different either way. Oh. Alright, so we updated the cage and the high poly, so it should just need to export just these two. And that should be the final change on our bake. I need some tea or something. Actually, re-export all of them. All these collections. Save. Goodness. Goodness. Wow, that's terrifying. Just a little bit of clipping here. So this is what we're trying to fix. think in our initial bake we did fix it. There were a few other aspects like the mouth interior that were breaking, so we're hoping to fix that right now. Still a few pieces missing. Let's turn on the high poly page. Just need to re-export the cage. The eye bake looks perfect now. Looking a bit of odd bake on the top of the roof of the mouth, which I think is in the right spot. Just needs a little displacement. Hello, Junie. Welcome. How you doing? Been a while. Okay, there should be some actual distance now. Doing well, just lurking, glance over and saw it. You started there with your mouth open and open mouth. Thought it was a little funny. How dare you? This is the kind of the pose I make every day. The anti-mewing. Anti-mew? Okay. Got some peppermint tea. Look at that all. My throat. Okay, mouth is fixed. You can save that. And now we'll start on some hair, I think. Oops. So export these textures. Save. And then save this one. We're going to reopen it to reload those textures. Much better. Still a pretty sharp crease here in the corner of the mouth. Shouldn't be a huge issue, but not necessarily ideal. Okay, so what I want to work on now is trying to make some better. Right now we have all the hair brooms on. So hair 3, 1. I think I'm going to switch up how my hair system works a little bit. So 2 things. First would be let me actually open Obsidian. So we start taking some notes. Basically, we want to make sure that we want to have it so that instead of starting the count in the middle or on the side, it starts in the middle. What does that mean? We have a square of mesh that we're using to make our hair strands. So if I go down here, we can see the actual geometry beneath this that we're using to drive the placement of the hair strands. Good morning, Ray. Hello. So my system that I created is really good for shell hair, like the back. Honestly, why not just do it one strand at a time? Yeah. I feel like I'm probably making my system here a little too complicated. So let's do hair number 4. Here, so we have hair strand 02. Everything's zeroed out. We're going to keep it right there. And here we're also going to make a curve. Then on our strand, don't need any more subdivisions on. We can add a deform curve. Awesome. And we do stuff like add a mirror. Good morning, Ray. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Hope you're having a good one yourself. Been a little tired today, I suppose. The weekend can't come soon enough. Ooh, goodness. All right, so I think it's going to be the combination of my mesh workflow plus these strands. That's really going to be it, because I don't want to... There are some spots where I'm going to want the shell, some spots where I won't want the shell. I think we should swap that with just a normal subdivision. Finally figured out, was proud of myself. I spent about 2 hours last night trying to figure out why an unrigged outfit wasn't working after I transferred weight data to it. Finally figured out I was supposed to parent it to the armature. Gotcha. Yeah, sometimes the order of things in Blender can be a little surprising. All things Blender 4.22 don't seem the same as what tutorials show you. The tough part with tutorials is sometimes they can't really tell you the assumptions that they might be making. Like, oh yeah, well everyone knows how to do it this way, right? That's not the case. Way too symmetrical. Way too symmetrical. Never figured out how to enable X-ray mode in weight paint. I don't know if you can actually. So when you switch to like wireframe view in weight paint, it just not a transparent view. The only way I could select the bones is in the vertex data. Not off the scene like they implied I could. So that's, you have to have both your bones and the model selected. So for example, if I turn on my Nora character here, the body source, ignore the weird texturing, but it has to be parented, armature deform, and then once you parent it, you select the rig, then you select the body, weight paint. And now I'm able to select the bones. I'm just holding Alt click to do that. And you can see there, and then you can edit them. Yeah, so you have to select the rig, select the mesh, then enter weight paint mode. And you can just Alt click to select your bones. That's not very good, the way it intersects there. It'd be a little bit nicer if I could control the radius on my hair mesh. So that'd be another feature I want to include. Radius attribute. We'd have a global radius attribute, and then a proportional radius. So basically, scale with the mesh itself. Sample horizontal edges on the UV map. Range from smallest edge to okay, and then variation. Right, of course. One thing I can do right away Oh, is this my old version? It is. This is not my linked. Well, that would explain it. Okay, so explain part of it. One thing I need to do is get rid of this. We can go to, and then the other thing would be to separate mesh curves. That way I can sample the normals afterwards. Okay. That's probably going to be the majority of the work this afternoon, but for now, let's get our asset in. So I have my hair right here. This is what I thought I was using, but it was not. And I want to be using hair mesh curves. Which turns it into curves. And then we do the other one. Duplicate. Turn this hair mesh curves to mesh. And we want to use our strand collection here. Then I can delete this one. All right, that already looks a lot better. Not perfect, but improved. Set the material. Hair mesh curves to this will be mesh to curves. And the fun part is we can use our frizz. Boom. Oops. And as long as we put it in between these two, we can actually get some of the benefits of this. So basically just getting some slight variation. It's like we need some better strands, so we'll do set attribute to then we just put the mirror below the bottom. All right. Then we go to step 2 where we duplicate these. Sounds good. just a few of these curve hand. So it definitely is nice to have both options, the curve and the mesh gen. That way I gotta clean up both. It's looking a little bit cleaner, a little bit more polished. What we also need for that, we're going to need to create a new hair texture. So what we want are thinner strands, more types of strands, better eyebrows, better. As for the eyelashes, what I've realized is I could probably do, rather than doing all the eyelashes as one mesh, you could do like a few meshes. That would allow you to create clumps of lashes a little bit easier. But this looks pretty good. Even if I stick with this, I'd be happy, but I do want to give the other one a shot. The main thing I want to figure out is how to make the roots look better. Roots. Because I was looking at Monster Hunter, what's that? The blacksmith. That's a terrible image. What a nice high-res image. Yeah, there we go. See, like the roots of the hair look super good. And what actually looking at this, so this section right here, that must actually be the scalp. It's not actually a hair card. That's just, she has like a buzz cut texture beneath her hair. But these do have these little roots at the bottom. And I want to get it to look that good. And then here you can see they have the main braid shape and then like these thinner strands kind of on the outside to give it that variation. But the main core braid is basically the same texture again and again and again. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I bet what they're doing is controlling the transparency, the dithering, with a vertex color. That would make it a lot easier to thin out your hair or thicken it without having to make and give you more variation while reusing the same cards. That's probably what they're doing. A lot to learn looking at screenshots. I'm going to probably be looking at a lot more screenshots of characters soon. But we're going to go back to Painter. We're going to give her a little buzz cut. So. I made this little stubble container on a previous version, and I didn't particularly care for it. Let's see if we can improve it. So we'll add paint. So I don't think this is what we're gonna want, but it'd be kind of similar to this. So perfect. My bald head is the perfect reference. Now this was initially for more like a beard and like a stubble. We're gonna retrofit that. Kind of like a V shape. Goes under the bump, so it would go onto the neck. All right. So to start with, let's just slap a and we're going to rename this to hair face. This will be our color to start with. And it looks like we missed some spots. Just clean this up. But I think mainly we'll want to pull out the roughness. We don't really want the head reflecting much of the environment when we're painting, or when we have a larger hair groom on top. Go back to that reference image. Hello, Snardum. Welcome. Life's going pretty well right now. We're working on some hair, trying to figure out how to get like a base, base hair layer for our character. This is our elf, female elf we were sculpting on Monday. Or Tuesday? Well, we did the concept on Monday. Sculpted her on Tuesday, textured her yesterday, now we're working on her hair. Trying to figure that out. That looks pretty good for the most part. It just needs to be slightly transparent. Combo I thought I'd never hear. It's going well, and I'm working on hair. Female head buzz cut. But then you start saving my reference images. Right, something like this. So if we could get like it looks like it just needs a little bit of directionality. So not a dots, but strands. So let's see if we can do that. We've got that anisotropic. Let's set it to triplanar. I think we would rather have a cylindrical projection, kind of like this, and then we can blend that with another projection. Something like this seems a little bit more stable for the most part. For the top of the head. Then something like that. Let's say that I'm super excited about how that looks. Let's see. Create a, or no, search for information on painting a video game characters and for sphere instead. Sphere is a lot better. Ooh, that looks much, much better. Now I'd love to just cut away at the edge of the actual hair base with an anisotropic noise. I think what we'll do is we'll add to our mask a blur which, I mean, that alone actually helped a ton. All right, that actually is pretty good. Okay, just a little bit of blurring and basically good to go. I think we just want to be able to change it to, you know what, I'm still going to try copying this, going to the blur and setting it to something like a way to blend it. Like multiply. I think we would want to invert it. Makes me want to make a drow character. We can do something like this, but then actually add a anchor point here. Take a fill, give it the air base mask we just made, set it to linear dodge. Now we've got a nice sharp edge. Okay, we can turn this back on. That was kind of convoluted, but I think I understand what I did there. Not 100% sure. Ah, what is that? Still might not be exactly what we want. We're just feeling it out right now. Save that. Export it. bad. I feel like it's a little too long. It should be a little bit shorter. And maybe like a second anisotropic hair strand texture. Definitely needs a little bit of height to catch the light. I'm gonna call this hair top. I'm gonna add another paint layer. Paint out hair here. Bring down the Niso tiling. That definitely looks a lot more like a buzz cut now. Still think this layer we're playing around with right here. Let's actually slap it into a mask as well, and also give it a filter and a noise, because never really have enough noise when it comes to realism. There's just always more. Oh, that's a filter I need. Do our blue noise for kind of a base stubble. No, that looks good. That looks good. I'll do a little bit of height on it. Maybe just a little, some fewer. All right, and then so we'll call this base, and then we'll duplicate hair top. We'll call this hair sides. Take the noise or rotate it. Take the paint. Get rid of it on the top. Paint it in on the sides. It looks a lot more like hair to me. Definitely more realistic. Still not perfect. I think we would really just want to use a warp layer to project the hair on, because that way we could get it to turn. We get that anisotropic texture to actually rotate and turn a little bit. And that'll be kind of the final layer of realism. So for our hair on the sides, I go to the nose, nose. We do warp projection. We want to do a warp projection combined with a mirror. It should mirror it to both sides. It is. And then we've got our projection right here. I don't see anything. Because I need to switch the inversion. All right, and then we'll set the tiling to maybe 10 right now. 5. Just 1. Play around with that later. Mostly the motion. Right now, that's important. So we're going to edit the vertices after first turning up the columns. So move these in. Split. There should be a depth option over here. Projection depth around. And you can see without some kind of straightforward manipulation, we can start changing. The hair is blending. I'm blending. That already looks quite a bit nicer. Okay, and now I think we adjust that tiling. All right, that certainly looks a lot more realistic. Still not perfect, but starting to feel it. Starting to feel that realism. Realism's just really just variation. A little bit thinner. Oh, sorry, getting a call, everyone. back again. Ooh. I would just want to make the actual strands on the edge line up. That's an interesting thought. Because we have these two versions in the hair. There should be a way for me to extract it. Because we have the noise we're adding here. I just want to use the noise we're using to make the two layers. So I think I would just go to the hair sides and add an anchor point here. And here, and then instead of using this noise, we just go to UV projection. Actually, let me just remake that. So fill, and subtract whatever they were using, and then add in our anchor points. We'll do top first, which you can see working. And we'll duplicate and do hair sides. Cool. And so we can see that the edges of this, however rough, are now conforming to the shapes we were laying down earlier, which we can fix up here. Boom. Just lower this ways. Beautiful. It's hair anchor or anchor point. Hair up. And this last one is the hair base. A little complicated, but I don't know, that works pretty nice. Space there. This would be the side still. Okay, that genuinely does look like a little buzz cut. Good. Good, good, good. And we could probably do a little bit to just kind of chop it up. Let me switch this to a mask view really quick. It's pretty close to what I was hoping for. So we blur it to this point. Ah, I see. The levels needs to be above these two. Then we subtract, levels it to make it quite sharp, and then fill in to return it to the original strands. But now, should be working with some sharper edges now. Yeah, feels a little much more realistic. Smidge. I mean, maybe I should even blur it. No, I want to blur it there. Maybe just a little less. More brings more in. Close. Very close. Maybe instead of the levels, I could use a bevel. Ask view. So we have the hair like this. It does not look much different at all. I feel like we should be able to be getting a bit more. But I'm gonna come playing around with it because it's working. What I want it to do, it's doing. What we need to upgrade next is the actual hair texture here because it's definitely blown out. And not very usable. Let's open up our hair creator. So we have source hair. It's our hair baker. And we're basically going to be making a new one. So we'll make a new version. We'll call this hair baker elf. Save as. So it's a really rough image here, but what we want a much wider variety of the types of strands we can use because there's just not enough variation currently with my current one. This is like our test one basically, but it's clumpy. The eyebrows aren't that great. The eyelashes are too thin. Older version lights. Eyelashes too thin. That's really the eyebrow. It's just very masculine right now. Save her there. Close painter. Let's review. See, look at this one. See how many variations it has? It's got tons of small ones. This is pretty close to what we want. And even this, it's got thick. Just this whole spectrum from thickest to thinnest, long, thickest to thinnest, short. And these ones, I think, are the ones that I really need. But also, you notice how the roots are very broken up. It's got a lot of variation along the roots, because I think what mine does most poorly right now is it's a very uniform root, which I don't think is very realistic. And also, they do have the slightest taper out. Basically, a hair strand is generally just a V shape. V shape. And then at the base has just the slightest flare out. Smack my glasses. And then we just need to make sure that they're fitting into each section. Okay. Ooh. This one's not very good. Probably gonna reference the heck out of this. This one. These are great lingo to understand what I should be doing. Base hair, small breakup hair, big breakup hair, flyaways, and transitional hair. Very fascinating. Let's get into other stuff, but the hair, we have good reference. Let's copy this. There's a way for me to Chrome, save URL as short. Save and share. I believe it creates it on my desktop. Where did it save it to? Oh, might be on one of my other monitors. No, that is not. Where the heck did you save? Create shortcut. Create. Whatever. Marmoset, hair, or here. Sorceress breakdown. Perfect. Okay, that worked like a charm. Okay, I'm gonna call it here for ending for lunch. Super excited at where we're at with our character. I feel like we have really pushed into a new level of quality. I'm looking forward to maintaining that, making a new character, making a new level of quality. Enjoy lunch. I will start them. Thank you so much for hanging out. Everyone that's lurking, hope you're all having an amazing Thursday. I'll be back in about 2 hours. Hope to see you then. Definitely enjoy your day in the meantime.